Hey guys, Christian Batchu coming at you with Solo Macchiato. Today we're going to talk about bean storage. How do we keep those coffee beans nice and fresh for as long as possible? Before we go into that, we got to talk about the three main enemies of our beloved bags of coffee. Number one is heat. I've recently absolutely wrecked a really nice, really expensive bag of coffee. There's only about a third of it in there, but I ruined it by leaving it in a hot car. It was still, warm enough outside. It was in direct sunlight. I didn't realize I had my bag of beans in my lunch bag or my coffee bag. And the next day I tried dialing it in. It just wouldn't work. Absolutely wouldn't work at all as a pour over. So now it's good for cold brew. Yeah, when stuff happens to your coffee or when it gets stale, it's good for cold brew, I guess. But how do we keep it good for espresso, for pour overs, or any other brewing method that you really love at home? Well, number one, keep it away from heat. Keep it at room temperature, right? In a cool storage place, and you'll be fine. Number two, light. We don't like light. Coffee beans don't like any light. So if you ever use these kinds of jars, okay, make sure you keep them away, stashed away in a cabinet, in a drawer, away from light. And number three, one of the biggest problems that we have with our coffee beans is air. Number three is air. We don't like air. There's a number of reasons why we don't want air or fresh air getting to our beans. And one of those reasons, though, is oxidation and the fact that beans are quite absorbent. They're kind of like tofu, for lack of a better term. They pick up flavors, they pick up scents and whatnot from the environment around them. So we need to avoid heat, avoid light, and avoid air. Heat, pretty simple, right? Just keep your beans at room temperature, or freeze them. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Light, pretty easy, keep them away, or keep them in very dark containers, right, that don't allow light to go in. And last one, let's talk about air. How do we keep air out of our beans? So some people would like to use jars, right? They open up large bags of coffee, right? They'll come like this, 250, 340 grams, and then you want to distribute them just so you don't have fresh air going in and out. Not great. The fact that you can't get air out of these jars, it's not the greatest thing. Something like this is this, special coffee jar, whatever. Oh God, there's pre-ground coffee in there. Yep, my wife is definitely trying to kill me. Okay, so we're gonna put this aside. We don't like that one. But there are these cool, very expensive aftermarket bean storage containers that have this super cool plunger that keeps the air out of here. Pushes all the air out. You can lock it down, and now you can put this sealed cap on top as well. These are pretty expensive. Do we really need these? Yes and no. There's value to them. They do keep your beans fresh for up to 7, maybe 10 days. But even with that, I do find that I continuously have to grind finer and finer, and also slightly increase my doses by 0.1, 0.2 of a gram every 2 days or so. So if you buy a large bag of coffee and you're gonna put beans in here, try to measure out only what you would use in about max 7 to 10 days. If you're someone who drinks by yourself and you only drink 1 cup of coffee a day, you really won't be filling this up very high. If you fill it, 3/4 of the way to where your, the max capacity fill is for this, and you're finding that you're getting through that in less than 7 days and you're drinking by yourself, congratulations, you are a coffee addict. Very nice. But if you don't want to spend the money on these fancy expensive things, you can just stick to the bags that your coffee comes in. They're great. They're dark on the inside, regardless of what color they're on the outside. They have these valves on them that are great for when the coffee is still off-gassing in the first week or so. And, you know, they do a pretty good job at keeping your beans nice and fresh. And the cool thing about them is, right, they're resealable. But neat trick, what I do is I really try and get all that air out before I reseal them. And then I really love my rubber bands. Lots of rubber bands, baby. So I've really only got, you know, one dose in here, but I've got it nicely sealed up and I should still be able to enjoy it a couple of days from now. This is kind of cool, eh? This roaster gives you a little card with a recipe on it, which is really nice. A lot more roasters should probably be doing that. Something like this, or this Mylar. Again, I really like my rubber bands. This is what I keep my green beans in. They're pretty good. They're still kept pretty fresh. They really don't take up, don't absorb much from the environment. As long as we really get this down nice and tight so that we can get all that air out of here before we seal it off really well. Put that off the side. Now, what do we do for beans that we don't want to use within the next week or two? We want to try and freeze them. These Ziploc bags are great. You can use these big freezer bags, or you can just use other bags that you're keeping. Try and keep your bags, your coffee bags. They do come in handy. So what you want to do is dose out whatever you think you would use within a week of taking your beans out of the freezer. So here you are. Here's about a week's worth of beans. I love doing this with decaf. My mom, for example, will only drink decaf when she comes over anytime after noon. She'll only drink decaf. So what I typically do with the decaf beans is I'll get them in a Ziploc bag. I'll squeeze all the air out of them, and then again back to the Ziploc to the rubber bands. We love rubber bands. And now here's the trick: get them into the freezer, freeze them up, but try and take them out at least 12 to 24 hours before you're going to start using them. Okay, so if you know you've got guests coming over for an afternoon, for dinner, and you think they're going to want some decaf coffee or some single origin coffee that you don't drink too often, freeze them away, but try and pull them out the day before if possible. If not, about 2 hours is okay as well, but don't just pull things out and put them away. If you guys have any other ways that you store your beans with things, you know, that you find around the house, let me know in the comments below. Subscribe, because I'm going to keep coming up with really good videos. If you've liked anything, if you've learned anything new and liked my content, please give me a like. And remember guys, life is beautiful.